I want to thank the As of Writing 543 patrons pledged. It should never be forgotten that it's all of them who keep not only this series going but Anime Wins alive. Consider pledging for tons of rewards. Small thing, but actually showing the items on the shelf being taken and disappearing. Even with Firen recently, Haito was flicking greens onto her plate and they disappeared onto her pile. Two wins here. Firstly, it's these kids actually following their leader's example and throwing themselves into combat. Secondly, I was shocked by this old man doing the same look as a young lad again. I like Sanji, he's a powerful dude, but there's no one quite like Zoro when he gets ready to engage in combat, who I trust to get the job done. Now that was a good funny joke to start this part. Luffy has finally made it back here, but most of all I'm eager to see him fight them as no one has excelled at it thus far. Oh snap! That was even easier than I thought it'd be from the last win. Colour me shocked and surprised. Ah, Robin. She's so friggin' great, I swear. So Zoro did struggle, but she wins so easily like this. I love the notion that this was all over far too quickly for Zoro, and he's all pent up like, I just wanted to cut something. These moments continue to show the difference between Luffy and scum like him. He has no interest in piles of gold and silver. His interest lies in something deeper, more symbolic, and of course the One Piece. Shows just how scummy he is, as I just wrote, that he's happy to leave his son and grandson behind and all his men to get away. I totally forgot for a second about Luffy not being able to swim, so it was really sweet of the kid to rescue him. The realism behind this is very clever. They spent quite some time exploring with us how supernatural this place was. It makes perfect sense then that a massive explosion would cause this. Potentially a way out, but most of all, this stunning zoomed out shot showing the mist, the setting sun, and of course the whole island and its town there. Nami very quickly taking charge in order to get that boat moving towards the hopeful exit. The awesome realism behind these soldiers no longer being their enemies when something this big is at stake, and helping to get out of the mist together. Oh no! Take one from my tummy, feeling nervous. Both oars broke. Zoro's hilarious plan that they should all get off the boat, in the water mind you, and push it out. All the way through this very good non-canon arc, this lad has been nothing but exceptional, I must say. Unexpected chopper attack! And an equally decent and unexpected one from Sanji. These kids are legit little legends. We've seen some good lads and ladettes, but their loyalty really sings to me. The difference between what he kicks being static and immovable is pretty awesomely done. The shock twist that when the mist disappeared, it reappeared above the island. That was actually so damn cool, and I'm giving it max wins, because it looked great, had one of my favourite tracks backing it, and it means that finally they're out of that horrible place. Talking about unexpected twists, his mansion being swallowed up into the mist and all the money he stole floating back down to the people was a nice touch to end the arc on, to be honest.
Gunning?
少佐、あちらに持ち出したと思われる財宝の山を発見しました。
よし。
I love it. These are clearly all the kids who got out of the mist. I'm still shocked how they've ended up here, but it's good to see them all again. Seeing the stark difference between them now was nice to see. He caused so much horror for them as kids. It's justice, really. They did such a good job of aging them appropriately and yet still maintaining the key characteristics.
爆発の瞬間、俺たちも外の世界へ放り出された。しかしそこは今から50年前の世界だったのさ。
I mean, I guess that makes sense. They were spat out into their old time period. Explains why there was essentially two versions of them, but not Luffy and crew. I'll take it.
権力を傘に来ているウェットを倒すには別の権力。そう。海軍の力を利用するしかない。そう思ってな。
He then also goes on to explain why they didn't return to the island right away, knowing that it was under an evil rule and thus they needed power to enact justice, the power of the Navy.
こんな海軍の服を着ちゃいるが、心は今もパンプキン海賊団だ。ヘンゾ、お前の仲間だ。
Honestly, that was probably the sweetest thing said by anyone during the entire small arc. That was actually a truly lovely statement and sentiment. Too long to show it all, but him basically saying, you're pirates and you are under arrest. But oh, also if we're arresting the Wettons, we can't also arrest you. It's too much. So saying he'll let them go. Actually following through with the damage to the ship and the repairs that had to be done to it.
作ってほしいんだ。虹色の霧を避ける道具を。お安いご用じゃ。
A very nice ending that doesn't forsake the start of the arc, that people hated him, now they want him to keep doing his research for their collective benefit, and it warms my heart. This awesome ending, even better than I thought it'd be, as both true groups of pirates say goodbye to one another. As if the wrap-up wasn't good enough already, we're shown there having escaped the mist, help coming to rescue them, and then working for the Marines. It was already great, and now it's even better. He wrote the book! What a beautiful tie-in to the story! Well, this went from a great ending to a damn near perfect one, as we see the final book is in Arabasta of all places, and we see Vivi in the background and Pell. So good! In fact, max wins for that. Colour me even more shocked and surprised that they ended a non-canon arc with something that affected the ship into a canon arc. As much as I liked the various whys from Nami, it wasn't a win until Chopper floated past with Usopp.
ログポースが壊れちゃった。上を向いて動かない。より強い磁力を持つ島によって新しいログに書き換えられたのよ。
Ah, I misspoke, obviously. I thought the mist dumped the ship out. It clearly fell from the sky, hence the name of the new saga. I get it now, let's go. By the way, that's such a cool twist and will make for an awesome adventure, I'm sure. But I love the idea of there being islands in the sky. Really expands the lore too. How Robin gets a bit fed up with them going nuts at the prospect of going up to the island, so she gags him. This is actually good because there's been a couple filler arcs, so now we're back to canon characters acting perhaps a little sus towards Robin, since she hasn't been around long in the main timeline. Trust Luffy to immediately begin exploring, and to his credit, Usopp goes too.
年は30代前半。航海中、病に倒れ死亡。
Surprisingly, the story gets a little more dark and serious for a moment here, at least in the subject matter and tone. You can so tell this is canon now, credit to movies 4+5 and the filler arcs, but to be honest, this was the most realistic display of her brain's abilities we've seen to date. Most impressive too.
208年前に出港してる。落ちてきた船と同じだわ。
Dude, Dude, she's so good and so smart she picked it out from a book she read in the past. Oh, you already know that map is getting them a win? Also though, my personal love for maps aside for a second, it's really cool to add this to the story, I think. I just like the mere notion of it alone. Let's go. Funny enough, I just gave this a win in the 5th movie, saying it's really starting to become a thing lately, and here it is. Their collective set of reactions to her statement just had to get a win. Zoro doesn't seem to think that they can, but I'm still dropping a win for something that's kind of a part of pirate life. More modern, but still, and that is salvage under the sea. Leave it to Usopp to figure out how to build it, and now they can do it. I love it. Dude, you then make it even better by having them be able to speak through these devices. That is nothing if not a totally unique looking ship. Glad Nami found a way to deal with him using her charms, and then we got the rather hilarious moment he still hasn't caught on that they've got people in the water and they're still bluffing. I swear only Luffy would decide to briefly stop in front of a mirror down there to pull some faces. I appreciate some of the realisms down here, such as the sword breaking into pieces, warped at by time and various elements. There's whose damage animators at play! Makes perfect sense that these guys who do this for a living here have way more serious kinds of gizmos that they use. What is this? A ship designed by Krieg? Nami's what is? Just killed me. The pretty unique way that is shown of how they bring up these ships back up to the surface. They thought they'd be taking pictures for some reason. I, for some unknown reason, find it hilarious that Zoro has had that on him since he first went down and still has now. Can't show it all, but basically Zoro says, "Who are you?" And he says, "Oh, you think I'm that good looking or whatever?" And Zoro says, "So who are you?" A good reminder of how insanely huge some of the creatures in this world can be. As always, a great example of how Luffy can end up getting on with most people, especially if they're a little like him. Nami's voice actress showing some fantastic vocal skills at the end there. First of all, I love the idea of Usopp freaking out so bad that he just covers his eyes and problem solved. I can't see anything, thus it might be a dream. Secondly though, as always, Chopper believing Usopp, and in this rare case he managed to pull Nami into it too. How they did a nice and subtle bit of animation around the mouth area to look like chewing is really clever. Overall, win number 10 of me saying Chopper's real life voice actress is absolutely one of the greatest things to happen to One Piece. I love how this is Nami's approach to taking full responsibility for sending them down there. Then it's all over. An oddly cool and badass statement there from Usopp, I must admit. She's ruthless whilst looking and sounding like she's giving orders to save the crew. Don't know how she does that.
突然来る夜は怪物が現れる前兆。
船を沈められちまう。早くボスを救出しろ。
That's an incredible plot twist all of a sudden. So far this arc has been a serious head scratcher, so really well done for that. Everyone made it back to the ship okay, take my win.
だからお前ら逃げてこれたのか。なんじゃありゃ。
These guys having no idea about the giant turtle and then their reaction when they finally saw it. Jesus! This giant thing, whatever it is, what caused everything to seemingly turn to night, it's by far the largest thing we've ever seen in the anime. I'm hyped! Also a smaller win, but I like how they decided to keep damage done to the ship from a non-canon arc. Half the win is because there's not just one of them, but 5 of them, but also seeing all of their shocked and worried reactions because normally Luffy and Robin and likely Zoro and Sanji would be calm, not here.
さすがにあれにはビビったねどうも。
Him just casually having come along with the crew and acting like normal.
本気出せばあんなのでも勝てたんだぜ。昔10匹倒したことがある。
How come I will literally never get bored of this happening though? Luffy happily walking around the ship in a suit of rusty armor. Really happy Oda didn't just move on past those events, instead we got to see a bit more of what happened. Probably close to 2 minutes of Luffy saying, let's go to Jaya, or maybe not, because that's what we stuck there. I decide where we go, let's go to Jaya, going around in circles until Usopp hits him. As if that wasn't good enough already, Luffy then comes up with his own name for the place and what it's best known for based on his own tastes. Super unique looking island!
そうとも心して進めいいか。
Oh snap, it's Buggy and his crew! We haven't seen him in like, what, about 75 episodes at this point?
おめえら新入りだな。
いやー汗がくて素晴らしいっすね親方。あよいしょやっぱ男は鶴橋ですよね。
そういうわけだ。
I swear this was the perfect scene to reintroduce Buggy for a little bit, plus his voice acting already made me laugh. I have no clue how he gets his voice so high like that. The fact that she is still in the anime.
もしきゃいいじゃないかよ。
ああ、なんだ。ルフィに会いてんなら俺が教えてやるよ。
Oh my god, I just saw Ace next to him! I actually caught it early, I'm so smart!
俺の名はエース。以後よろしく。
いやいや、そんなご丁寧に。こちらこそ一つね。
They can actually just go right on ahead and have a win for having Ace in the anime as it is. He's awesome, and now he gets to meet 2 of the first villains his brother ever faced.
あ、親父を知ってんのか。それは嬉しい。
So glad to see he hasn't changed. He did the same thing whilst looking for Luffy during the last saga.
なんだおめえら遠慮すんなよ。宴だろパッてやろうぜパッと。
そりゃそうだせっかくの宴だったもんな。
How Ace and his awesomely powerful personality can completely change the vibe of a ship like this.
これでてめえの手持ちはゼロだ。あとはパンツでもかけてくか。いいじゃん。
Balls from becoming a kill.
おめえ今イカサマしやがったな。そうだろう。
サーキース。
なんだ。
Okay, this is amazing for 2 reasons. Firstly, the guy sat down playing the game and asking the question is Knuckle from Hunter x Hunter. He was also in JoJo, one of my favourite lesser-known voice actors.
ああ、そうだな。そいつはイカサマをした。
Secondly, this guy at the bar is Shuto from Hunter x Hunter, and here comes the final win. If you know Hunter x Hunter, you'll know that during the Chimera Ant arc, these 2 were together all the time. So I love that here, about 13 years or so prior to that anime, they were pirates together. Damage effect anime is seriously out at play here.
ポカポカしてて気持ちいい。春はいい気候だな。
Chopper is the greatest thing to ever happen to anime in the history of the world.
お前の日々の行いの賜物なのである。
This weird guy being able to have shot down those poor girls from that insane distance that they on the boat can't yet even see any land. Also though, this town looking totally different to all the others we've seen. Let's go. that transition though. Animating multiple characters all moving within one scene like it's no big deal. Not running on the spot.
まあ大丈夫だろあの二人がいる。
なんだよ、ナミさんが行くなら。
The very realistic and hilarious reaction of these two not wanting Sanji to also go and leave the ship. It's so unique that this island has this symbol everywhere on its windows and buildings. Another classic One Piece example of pretty much everyone looking totally different from one another in a crowd.
あの格闘チャンピオンにはな。
チャンピオン？なんで張り合おうとしてんの？
It's funny, I know the characters so well now that as soon as this was said I was like, they're gonna get involved. No matter how you slice it, this part of the town looks stunning.
いいわけいいから早く追い出して。いくら払ってここ貸し切りにしたと思ってんの？
Emergency kawaii alert! Showing this because Zoro was pissed, but that's a given. But even Nami was seriously angry at money being thrown at them.
そりゃあんたやベラミに比べりゃゴミだけど。
波のレベルにしちゃよくが。
Whoa! Loads of unexpected kawaiizis!
にも収まらねえみてえだな。ほら、こいつはおごりだ。はいよ。ま、4日回りゃログはたまるから。ごたごたに巻き込まれねえうちにここを出るんだな。
This dude is one of those rare, completely background characters who makes an impression right away. In this case, because he's being very kind and understanding towards Nami and crew here.
はい、70個。80個。100個。なんだおめえやんのか。
Oh my god, I can't believe how great my ears are. This is All for One from My Hero Academia, Dimple from Mob Psycho 100 and Thorkel from Vinland Saga, and much, much more. How awesome! One Piece managing to go a little darker in this saga so far. Rare that they show this kind of stuff outside of movie number 4 and 5, really. Few wins here. Firstly, it's pretty shocking, and the same thing happened, funny enough, in the 4th movie. Secondly, just as I praised in the 4th movie when it happened there, Zoro is ready to go into action, as you can hear here and see in the movie. Lastly though, the damage animation, whilst quick, is very detailed looking.
何の真似だ。下っ端。その質問にゃ。
Oh snap, I already gave him a win for shouting Luffy to warn him prior to the attack, but now he totally gets another for immediately going into attack mode here. God, I love Zoro, he's so awesome.
ルフィ待って。ねえおじさん、私たち空島に行きたいの。何か知ってることはない？ん？
Easy win for a great plot twist, adding some mystery and intrigue to the location that they want to get to, given the huge reaction from everyone here.
きっと空にはもう一つの世界があるんだってな。バカだ。現象には全て理由があるもんだ。
What I liked about this is that Oda actually built within the lore a fairly reasonable answer behind the logic that an island in the sky does not exist, which I'm guessing it ultimately does. Even though he's a bad guy, you can understand his point in a weird way. Too many people lose their lives chasing treasures he says do not exist. He wants them to focus on normal treasures.
あいつは夢に生きて幸せだった。負け犬のザレ言だ。
But also how you can see all of this affecting Luffy in many ways. This factor was also touched on during the movies, and it gives us a great understanding of how Luffy views the world. Going through the trouble of animating all of these broken glasses and bottles.
この喧嘩は絶対買うな。
That's quite shocking from Luffy. Maybe he wants to take them all on himself because of how it's offended him by being totally anti his view of pirates, but still, it was shocking. It's funny, it's like the scene wasn't quite intimidating enough during the last episode, so they literally made it darker, and it kind of works, oddly enough.
戦ってよ。ぶっ飛ばしちゃえばいいじゃない。
へへへ、無駄だお嬢ちゃん。利口だぜ。
Oh damn, now I can see why they made it darker. It makes the scene so much more serious, and I'm still left so confused why they're also not fighting back. Don't think I've ever to this point been so angry at the disrespect here being shown to our crew. Made me legit furious watching this. Although as angry as I am, I cannot overlook the damage being animated there.
そりゃお高い食って。
Also though, this crowd of people totally looking different to one another as always.
空島はあるぜ。
Felt sad to see Nami feeling humiliated here, but then suddenly the story takes a twist with this guy from before making this sudden announcement.
人の夢は終わらねえ
This is why he's one of my favourite voice actors in the game. He's always had this ability to burst out lines with that booming voice too, even now to this day.
高みを目指せば出す拳の見つからねえ喧嘩もあるもんだなあおい
I'm starting to understand a little bit why they chose not to fight. It goes back to Shanks choosing not to fight at the start of the anime. It wasn't a fight that needed fighting. How they animate them walking through the town, but also how much life is poured into the town as well. There's people everywhere and all done by hand too. These two working together and doing so in a funny way, as to be expected, but also doing some more serious repairs now.
バカやお前この船が一体どういう経緯で手に入ったのか知ってんのか
聞いたよ何遍も
How Oda always keeps in mind who knows what and who wasn't around for that, as Sanji wasn't on the crew when they got the ship.
わそれ面白いぞウソップ
That. How come Chopper is literally the goat though?
ルフィソロなんだお前らその気が何があったんだナミさんは無事か
Not returning to the ship on the spot.
いいし
だからお前が見ろよ
That is so damn good. He did that during the last saga as well when Usopp got injured near the end of it.
そうだ空島の話は聞けたのか
空島
I swear I will never get bored of these amazingly funny reactions and giving them a win for it.
スケチャップ星
ガードポイント
Both of them using special moves to protect themselves from the wrath of Nami.
服の調達と空島への情報でしょ
Robin fitting the style of One Piece by going out and buying a totally new wardrobe for herself.
はい船長さんお宝の地図だ
I also don't think I'll ever grow bored of dishing out wins when Robin uses her fantastic ability. I thought this was the same banana ship from before, but it's not. It's another new and unique looking ship, so take that win.
まったくどこの誰かと思ってハラハラしたぜ
Igor in the Persona games, who sadly passed away in 2010.
ぼーっと見てないで今のうちに先へ進むのよおナミがもう鬼じゃねえ本当か
Luffy casually describing her angry phase as being like that of a demon, and Chopper's cute little happy reaction to her being back to normal.
俺の歌め船をさらに破壊してくれやがってよ
Something I like is the difference in repairs. Like what was visible before now was pretty shabby, but now they've had more time to do them properly, they're not looking too bad.
何かボロボロだなこの船も買い時か
勝手なこと言ってんじゃねえぞてめえまで
I don't know which is funnier. The fact that Usopp keeps referencing how they got the boat when replacing it is brought up, or Chopper joining in who wasn't even there when they got it.
ゴーイングメリー号も俺たちの大切な仲間なんだ頑張って俺たちでよなお
Chopper practicing his outraged face in the background. Anytime you want to give me a new map, I'm a happy pupster.
あれがそいつの家なのか宮殿じゃねえか
Talking about unique looking buildings, hot damn, that's certainly not like anything canon we've seen to date.
ただの板何
That's equal parts cool and unexpected.
掘るなよチョッパー金が出るわ
掘ったら出るのか
One Piece has such a good track record of hilarious little moments like this and getting wins for them.
思ってたよ
育ちやな
うるさいチョッパー何やってんの
See what I'm saying? It's comedy gold, seriously.
童話とは言ってもこのノーランドってやつは昔実在したって話を聞いたことがある
It's a real reoccurring theme in this anime, books being added to aid the lore, making the world feel more rich and real and expansive to my mind. This is like the third or fourth book talked about. The whole story behind this book and the way it was done visually, and of course leading to the potential for gold to still really be around after all.
勇敢なる海の戦士になれもせずに。
俺をみんな切ない文章勝手に出すな。
Nami getting a serious feeling, like the rest of us, how this story relates in modern times to Usopp to a degree, and kind of pointing it out rather slyly.
当たってねえよ。
Some nice movement there in terms of the animation. What the hell? That has to get a plot twist win. Him just suddenly falling down out of nowhere. Finding out what was actually wrong with the dude, and interestingly, they referenced real life in terms of the dangers of diving.
関節に障害を与える。
ああ、怪奇現象ってわけ。
Luffy's excellent takeaway, having understood nothing. They will obviously reference it at some point, but for now, using this instead of exposition is pretty cool.
おめえらここで何してんだ。おやさんになりをした。
なんだおめえら。
Good way to reintroduce these two to the story. I figured they'd be somewhat more important than they seemed at first, and here we go. Nice little link there.
世間じゃ伝説的な大嘘つき。その一族は永遠の笑い物だ。
俺じゃねえよ。
I don't know which is better, Nami and her heavy hinting towards Usopp, or Luffy almost outright saying it.
だから俺じゃねえって名前違うだろ。
Giving this another win, and purely because it reminded me of when they were in the cage, and Usopp was trying to get Luffy to concentrate, and he kept ignoring him or knocking himself out. So good.
ノーランドが類まれなる正直者だったからだ。
でもあの絵本じゃ。
Two wins here. Firstly, it's a decent twist, but a sad one that everyone labelled into the future his ancestor as a liar, even though he was truly honest till the end. But also because it's been a while and the internal set design is really good here, making his house feel very much unique to him as a person.
アホ面添えて描いてあるが、大粒の涙を流した無念の死だったという。
This just made the whole thing feel so much more real, but at the same time full of sorrow. That he wasn't happy in telling the truth, he was tearful at his end coming. So much worse.
ノーランドは地殻変動による遺跡の海底沈没を主張したが、誰が聞いてももはや苦し紛れの負け惜しみ。
I'm so glad Oda wrote all of this. It felt a little thin on the surface at first, but as the saga has progressed, it's gotten more and more in depth. Now including this moment, his reasoning how it disappeared.
見物人が大笑いする中、ノーランドは処刑され、嘘つきの名だけが残った。
Can I just say, not sure if it was intended or not, but there's a real connection and theme here between him and Usopp, but also Nami, Sanji and Zoro being laughed at for believing the story in the island are real.
しかし10年前、俺の船はなんと偶然この島に行き着いちまった。もう逃げ場はねえ。ケリをつけようぜ、ノーランド。
Makes for a great backstory that he ended up at this island in spite of figuratively running away from it all of his adult life. That's some damn good writing from Oda. Basically, I'll wrap this whole scene with a win for him being a badass. It's far better, I think, than merely wanting to clear the family name. He more just wants the whole thing put to rest.
5、6年前になるか。俺の噂を聞いて押しかけてきた。
Again, I think this makes for a clever connection between the monkey-type dudes and the overall story, since they dive for treasure all the time, and he's diving to solve the mystery.
マスターてめえ覚悟ができてんのか。とんだやがりだぜマシラ。俺を怒らすんじゃねえよ。
Normally this wouldn't get a win, but the outrageous lie that he didn't kick him when he 1000% clearly did just had me laughing.
こんな生活の中にズカズカと入り込んできて、勝手に俺の手下になって暴れ回りやがる。
For some reason, the description of the story utterly warmed my heart. Alone in the dark sea, searching endlessly, and then these two big personalities come along to help him, and it made him happy.
聞くな。はあ食いしばれ。
なんだら俺は空島に生きてんだよおっさん。
Usopp's best attempt at punching Luffy for him believing that he disrespected the story about true men and how Luffy dealt with it too. You know me, I'm a big fan of the lore in this one, and this essentially history book, since it's 400 years old, really fit that bill, makes this world feel truly old and lived in. Also though, I can't ignore little Chopper not being able to see and so climbing up like that.
まといえば探検家仲間から生きた空魚を見せてもらったことがある。奇妙な魚だと驚いたものだ。
In just one sentence, they managed to hook my interest like 3 times with mentions to the Sky Island. It's really hyping me up for it more and more, and doing so slowly was a great choice.
だからだよ。俺たちが一丁手を貸してやらねえか。
Stupidly great ending to the episode. For context, he says they really want to get to Sky Island. He says it'll be impossible for them. They'll be killed, and he says this. So much hype. As if it wasn't good enough already, we get to see Mihawk again. Not sure if he'll be in this saga or not, but that was still very awesome all the same. Darth Weirdo, Mal Liao, Nick Wyndham, The Elementator Wars, Christopher Willis, Emmanuel Gonzalez, Fancy Turtle, Kepan, Minimasher, Marquez, Nazomi, Orekeeper, Otter A. Bodonisi, Steelers, The Epic Commander, Bird Without a Word, Brandon Creer, Brian Bayot, Cameron, Christian Tuasa, Commander Chris, Doggos for Life, Dragonstorm 35, Aaron Winters, Guru, I Am Here, James Tafoya, Yor Edvinson, Kevin Alston, Cumfoik, Kylie Wub, Lisa Marie Timp, Luis Minito, Magnus, Mr. Mansu, Nightly Winter, Peter Milligan, Ruby Rose, Satakayari, Zion 44, Sean, The 100s, Tiger Lily Warrior, Sumi Bito, Ajoka, Alexander Schwartz, Ali 50, Amadillo, Brainless Ben, Cecilia, Cedric, Cloud Garden, Dante Soul, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Def the Kid 123, Devon, Dragon Defender, Esso, Garrett Vermish, Gibbs, Hoof to Lowe's Ritter, Israel Caldera, Jason Davies, John, Juffa 6263, Kelnock, Kevin Nelter, Kevink 102, Knuckle Duster, Kai 158, Kyle Jones, Laxor, Laxus, Liam Gagati, Lifty, Lionel Schultz, Marvin, Matthew Blansett, Michael Lewis, Modiverum, Monty, Mudini, Mr. Firecool, Natsu Dragneel, Nick Monaco, Nick Pell, 9028, Ollie the Mighty, Oliver Smiley Reacts, Oscar I. Lopez, Owen Halloran, Q Flash, Ryan DeVries, Sarcastic Truth, Snow, Stan, Storm 970, TRS, The Danish Muggle, Thrasher 340, Vernon Hogan, Will Sass, Willie Man,